Hi, I'm Jay Martin. This is TW Replays. Thank you for watching. We've got a pyramids game, but interestingly, from the flat sides perspective, this was sent in by Marshall Lamb. Thought it was an interesting game, but more importantly, an aspect that I've sort of neglected a little bit, and that is talking about playing this position on this map. And it's one of the more interesting starting positions because it's one of the more asymmetrical starting positions on this map. Of course, we have a hill over here, which obviously our partner wants to go for. But your deployment zone is way over here. Now, there are a few peculiarities. The first is that the defending team is a lot closer to the hill. So if these two players both want to go for it, the defending player is going to get there first. And you'd think they have a bit of an advantage. But also, crucially, the leftmost player can also get to this region faster than you can, which makes it a little more awkward. So you're faced with this dilemma of, or let me back up. So in other words, it's not unheard of to see the right-on-right fight absolutely decided before this player can get in position to have an impact. So how do you think about that? Well, how I think about it is you want some of your army, and this is one of the few maps where in your deployment zone you put your units actually matters. But you want somebody over here in the corner to try to get over there and help, right? And the other thing you're thinking about is, how do I stop this player from impacting this fight? Now, if your partner goes over there and just steamrolls the opponent, or vice versa, gets wiped, there's not a whole lot you can do about that. But how do you make the most meaningful impact? That's a really good question. And we notice our partner is clearly going for the hill. I'd like to see... Okay, so stop. So if the deployment zone border was here... I appreciate what Lamb is doing, and Lamb's going to play a very good game. But I'd like to... If we could all just be... what is that? 200 meters to the right. I think I like it a little better because you can tell immediately that their left GB player is going to be pushing this direction to help out in this fight as much as possible. So your next... Yeah, we see the blue dots. So the next thing you're trying to do is stop this player from participating, making them force. And I want to say this is a pretty predictable, common way this map plays out. Now, I have no idea how to predict Portugal v. France here. I would assume France is advantaged, assuming they play properly, air quotes, whatever that looks like. And I like what Lamb is doing here. We're just running forward and forcing the GB player to stop and fight us in the plane. That's great. And Lamb has issued the move order. We're going to clean this up in a little bit. The position the GB player takes up is eventually going to be kind of a horseshoe like this. We're going to ignore these dudes over here for a while. So Lamb charged the cav to make the GB stop the deployment. Brings the cav back. That's smart. Just FYI, 2 Scimitar, 3 mounted rifle. Now the next awkward thing you're dealing with as the Ottoman, and I like your build, by the way. It's just all line, only 2 Bashi. I'm a big sword guy, so I'd probably have 7 or 8 of them, but that's frowned upon in these days. The opponent has lights, so they have an intrinsic range advantage. And their foot just straight up shoot better than yours. So how do you compensate from that? How do you break an army like this? Let's find out. I think Lamb appropriately smells an opportunity here. Why are these GB Cav way out here? pressing on the shooter cav, maybe get a lucky shot. They pull back, nothing happens. It's fine. But you're kind of telling them, hey, this is kind of my territory, and we're waiting for our line to get organized right here. Lamb is going to do this. So let me talk about another thing that makes playing this position really stressful, is that speed is really important. This game doesn't demonstrate like what happens when you fail at that, but you see this, and then the Portuguese player is already having to leverage against the GB player. That's kind of a bad thing, because we would say that Lamb should be containing these units. Like, that's his opponent, that's his responsibility, right? But the way this map is laid out, it's possible for the leftmost defending player to get into a position to force the Portuguese to do exactly this. So deploying fast is really important, and again, that's kind of impossible because you start so far back, right? But any edge you can get on this speed issue is kind of relevant. Coincidentally, the French player here is Pixel, who we featured in the last video. I'm not a huge fan of how... I've watched this video a few times now. I'm not a huge fan of how both players prosecuted this, but I thought it was fine. It's back over to Lamb. We've at least got the GB player to stop, and we're able to deploy into something relevant. I think if you're the Ottoman player, now that we have got the GB player stopped and we're in a position, we got to think about how we actually want to prosecute this fight. The fact that there's a range advantage, yeah, it forces us to pull back a little bit. And we got to stop and think about how we want to do it. We could have rushed helter-skelter into range of the lights and fought it out. I wouldn't be super opposed to that if your cav was more in the center. But I like this move here. And what you're doing is try to get a position on a flank, maybe pull this GB player around a little bit. And I like that position. This is really good. This is, you know, the best support you can offer to your teammate here. This position should force that foot back. Again, the real challenge of this position is, how do you influence the game? Like, the fight on the right is going to happen, and it's so difficult to affect it or to participate or to change it. Like, 9 times, exaggeration maybe, 7 times out of 10, whoever wins this map, if this fight goes down, it's just who wins this fight. And it's very difficult as the leftmost player to have an impact on that. So anything you can do like this, I think, is good. And again, secondly, I'd say the speed factor comes into play here. Alright, so I like this move. We're stretching the line out. We could be more aggressive on our angle and be here. And the lights are just going to give you trouble. Like, you know, check that out. Bashy takes some hits. So this is cool. You go in, look like you want to shoot the lights, make the lights pull back. You can play this game a bit. The fact that that's a rifle there is going to be inconvenient. And Marshall Lamb kind of continues his development. It seems like we're putting a plan together. Now, something really clever is about to happen. All of the cav wind up over here. All the cav are there. Generally, I disapprove of this kind of thing. But every now and then, it seems to pay off. And if the opponent's spending their APM like microwing lights that you just kind of back away from, that's kind of okay. I'd like to see some movement right now. Looks like Lamb's thinking, still respecting the lights. Okay, coming forward. This is a much better angle. These dudes are not doing a whole lot. So here's a move. Sees the lights, got themselves out of position. Sends the shooter cav in at him. I like it. It does have the effect of drawing all of the GB line forward. And so here comes the attack. Right? So Lamb sending Bashi up here at the old Black Watch. And the infantry are moving forward. So Lamb has decided he thinks he can take this 4-on-3. And then the cav all move up here. And this is important with the general. And then this, I think, is awesome. Everybody goes. We attack everywhere. This is overload their micro. Let's get in there and shoot. Love it. And then this little maneuver is brilliant. Bashi, we running? We're running. Okay. Lamb wants to get in there. So Siltar charge, Light Dragoon. And this prompts the response from the opponent that all the cav just countercharge. Generally, I think cav on cav fights are a bad idea. But if they're going to happen, this is how you want to do it. Countercharge. Infantry turn around. General is there to hit the Inspire, which may have already happened and I missed. Cav turn around. There goes this, or the infantry turn around. There goes the square. Cav come out to try to drag them through the square. Yeah, love it. Overflow shots are happening. It's great. And so what Lamb is doing is he has a square up, running his own units back through the square, and you're going to watch, and then transitions into a charge here. That's great. But the 2 units of the GB Cav are going to get stuck on the square. We have to put another one up. And the other 2 units get stuck on that one. So with that one maneuver, Lamb kind of wipes the enemy Cav. They get stuck in squares. They're not useful anymore. Lamb gets into the GB General. Lamb gets into this Highland in the center. Pulls all his cav out. Enemy general dies. We all know how weak the GB is to the morale shock of that. And now Lamb gets himself a bit of a rout. Premeditated of 4-dimensional chess. Maybe not. Didn't know exactly how the GB player would respond to the cav work over here. But this cav fight definitely seals the game and kind of gets us to this point. Right? He kind of goads the GB cav into a bad fight, drags them through a square or two, and we wind up here. If the GB player doesn't countercharge the cav, and we're in a world where a world where the infantry are just shooting at each other, the Ottomans are probably disadvantaged, right? If the GB cav is just sitting back here and their general's alive, and the GB cav just, maybe 2 of them go at this direction, and then 2 of them maybe are keeping the Ottoman cav from being that active, then I think maybe GB wins this game. But the blunder was, I'm going to charge all my cav at yours, and, oh, you actually had infantry in the neighborhood. right? The difference between a supported and unsupported cav action. Here we are. That's the blunder. You want to charge cav on cav and they have infantry in the area, you're probably going to lose. You charge cav on cav and decide not to micro your units, you're probably going to lose. Additionally, if you had saved your cav in the center, another reason why generally putting all your cav on the flank is a bad idea, particularly one flank like this. If the GB cav had participated in attacking, this infantry unit, Lamb drops a square maybe, then boom, you got a way different game. As it was, this is how it turned out. I thought it was a real slick series of maneuvers from Lamb to get the cav advantage and then leverage that into the infantry fight. I also really respect players who don't rely on light infantry and just going with their line. I just think that's hot. So the game is obviously going to be over here before too long. I didn't show you any of this, but I don't know what my comment would be. I think on this map, like, it really rewards decisive fights. Like, I was talking about the concept of time earlier, or speed, and if you can just kill your opponent fast, then that guarantees a win, right? And I felt like neither of these two rightmost players displayed sort of a sense of urgency of, I really want to get this game over. I really want to get my opponent dead. And I think that's a very useful trait to have on playing this map. And it's possible sometimes you lose, but if we're talking about having a 51% win percentage on this map, the team that makes an effort to end the game quicker, I think, wins. Because then you get a turn and help your teammate. If you just kind of wait and ask, or you play the game like, wait and see if my teammate wins, then you're not helping your side very much, I don't think. That's kind of what I think. I love redundant statements like that. But we're just still here trying to get you a result screen. It's kind of what the end stage looks like. There you go. This is our man Lamb here, by the way. And there's Pixel. Anyway, thank you for watching. This is one of my favorite maps, and I so rarely play the flat side that I like. Whenever I get a good replay like this, I like doing it. So that's cool. So thanks for sending me the replay, dude. I hope you were doing well. Feel free to join us on Discord, strike up a conversation. Take care of yourselves. Stay at home. See you in the next video. Bye.